Hello everyone, a very good morning to all. So in this video, we are starting with the oxo acids of phosphorus. We have already discussed about the oxo acids of nitrogen. So there are around 8 to 10 oxo acids of phosphorus, which we'll be discussing about. So these are the oxo acids. First one is hypophosphorus acid, where phosphorus is in +1 oxidation state. It is monobasic. Then we have phosphorus acid +3 oxidation state. It is dibasic acid. Then we have hypophosphoric acid. It is tetrabasic with phosphorus in +4. Orthophosphoric acid or phosphoric acid, we call it. It here phosphorus is in +5. Then pyrophosphoric acid with +5 oxidation state of phosphorus. Metaphosphoric acid again +5. Peroxo monophosphoric acid, again phosphorus in +5, and peroxo diphosphoric acid, phosphorus again in +5 oxidation state. So let us first have a look at how to memorize, let's have a look at the trick to memorize the structure, name, formula, oxidation state, and the basicity of these oxy acids, and obviously corresponding anhydride also. So whenever we have the oxo acids of phosphorus, the first thing which are to be, few things which are to be kept in mind, that there is always a tetrahedral arrangement of bonds around the phosphorus, and one is going to be double bonded oxygen. So one group is mandatory, that it is always double bond oxygen is always present with phosphorus. Whenever there is POH bond, the oxygen is -2 oxidation number, hydrogen is +1. Overall, we'll take -1 oxidation number. Whenever there is peroxo linkage, both the oxygens will have -1 oxidation number. So let's start with memorizing these. Let's start with discussing the trick to memorize this oxo acids of phosphorus. So first one which we can easily memorize is phosphoric acid, which is very common, which we have been reading from the previous classes. So first one is phosphoric acid. The formula is H3PO4. This you will have to memorize. So firstly, what you will do is you will draw this group, that P double bond O. So this P double bond is mandatory. Rest of the structure is, we have left 3 oxygens and 3 hydrogens that are going to be present in the form of 3 OH groups. So one is mandatory, that is P double bond O, and rest of the bonds are preferences OH, and then if lesser number of oxygens are there, will bind the hydrogen directly. So here, if you want to know the oxidation state, oxygen will have -2, this OH -1, -1, -1. So that means X minus 5 is equal to 0. So from here, oxidation number for phosphorus comes out to be +5. Also, basicity can be known from the number of OH groups attached. So here 3 OH groups are attached. So basicity is 3. So next thing is anhydride, but that we are going to do in the end. So next we have phosphorus acid. So whenever we want to convert phosphoric to phosphorus, we'll remove just one oxygen. So after losing one oxygen, the formula will become H3PO3. This is phosphorus acid. So here oxygen will get, as this linkage is mandatory for any oxo acid of phosphorus. So one oxygen will go from any of the hydroxide, and hydrogen will directly bind to phosphorus. So this is phosphorus acid. Here oxidation state of phosphorus, we can easily calculate -2 for this oxygen, -1, -1, +1. So overall for P -3 is equal to 0. That means X comes out to be, X -3 is equal to 0, for X comes out to be +3. So here phosphorus is in +3 oxidation state. And basicity we can easily know from the number of OH groups. So that means basicity is 2 here. Now let us move further. Firstly, we'll take phosphorus acid. Now, whenever there is an introduction of prefix hypo, that means we have removed one of the oxygen. So if we remove one of the oxygen, we'll get hypophosphorus acid. So that formula will become H3PO2. Here is the formula. And this is the structure. So now 2 hydroxide has lost their oxygens, though 2 hydrogens are there. This is the mandatory linkage which is to be present in oxo acids of phosphorus. So this is monobasic because only one hydroxide group is present. Oxidation number is going to be X -3 + 2 is equal to 0. That means X comes out to be +1. So this is hypophosphorus acid. Next we have pyrophosphorus acid. So pyro means word heating. So whenever we heat any acid, that is, we'll remove one water molecule. So what we do is we'll double the formula, and so the doubling the formula of phosphorus acid will become, as we need to make this number even. So we'll remove water molecule, one water molecule, the formula will become H4P2O5. So that is our pyrophosphorus acid. So pyrophosphorus acid is obtained by placing the two units, that is two phosphorus acids consecutively, and remove one water molecule like this. One of the OH group will be lost from one phosphorus acid, and hydrogen will be there from other phosphorus acid. So this way water molecule will remove and the linkage will become, here oxygen will come like this, bridging oxygen will be there, rest of the structure is going to be same. So two phosphorus, two double bonded O, two hydrogens and two OH groups, and one bridging oxygen. So the overall formula becomes H4P2O5. Now if we want to know the oxidation state for phosphorus, so that will write it as 2x minus 2 minus 2 plus 1 minus 1 minus 2 minus 1 plus 1 is equal to 0. So that means 2x is equal to 6, for x comes out to be 3. So each phosphorus is having plus 3 oxidation state. Basicity, obviously there are two hydroxide attached hydroxide groups are there, so basicity is going to be 2. Next we take phosphoric acid. Now what we'll do is we'll add one oxygen. By adding one oxygen we'll get peroxy linkage, so we'll get peroxy monophosphoric acid. So here peroxo monophosphoric acid by having one OOH group, and rest of the formula is same. So here basicity is 3 because 3 ionizable protons are there, and the oxidation state of phosphorus is plus 5. We can easily calculate. So basicity is 3. Next we have metaphosphoric acid. So whenever we remove one water molecule from the single unit of any acid, that is going to give it prefix meta. Pyro comes from by doubling the formula, by making the oxygen bridge, but here it is meta because we have removed water molecule from the single molecule. So from here water molecule will be removed like this. So we'll have one OH, one coordinate bond with oxygen, and one doubly bonded oxygen. So the formula will become HPO3, and the oxidation state of phosphorus is going to be plus 5. Basicity is 1 because of the presence of one hydroxide group. Now we have pyrophosphoric acid. Pyro is generated by doubling the formula and removing one water molecule. So we'll double the formula, it will become H6P2O8, and we'll remove one water molecule, the formula will become H4P2O7. So this is exactly same as we prepared pyrophosphorus acid, doubling the formula for phosphorus corresponding acid and adding the prefix by removing the water molecule. So there also one bridging oxygen is going to come. Now this pyrophosphoric acid is also called as diphosphoric acid. Now from this diphosphoric acid we can also generate another acid, that is peroxodiphosphoric acid. So we'll introduce one more oxygen. So one more oxygen will be present as this kind of bridge. So there is a peroxide linkage in the bridging state. So this is how it is generated. The formula will become H4P2O8. There are 4 hydroxide groups. So basicity is 4, oxidation state for each phosphorus is 5. Next, the last acid which we can generate from the diphosphoric acid is a hypophosphoric acid. So now hypophosphoric acid will come by removing one of the oxygen from the diphosphoric acid. So we'll remove this bridging oxygen and we'll have direct PP bond. So here it will become phosphoric acid. It is not a double bond, it is PP bond, PP single bond, not a double bond. So this is a single bond. So this is how we can memorize all these, intergenerate these structures and formulas from each other. You just have to keep in mind where to add prefix hypo, where to add prefix pyro, where to add prefix meta, and we'll get all the acids. And you just have to memorize only one acid, that is phosphoric acid, or we call it orthophosphoric acid, with the formula H3PO4. Now we come to the anhydrides. How we generate anhydrides? Anhydrides are generated if the number of hydrogens is even. We'll directly remove all the possible water molecules. Now, if the number of hydrogens is odd, we'll double the formula, we'll remove all the possible water molecules, and we'll get the corresponding anhydride. So here for phosphoric acid, or we call it orthophosphoric acid, we'll double the formula because number of hydrogens is odd. So by doubling the formula will become H6P2O8. Now we can remove 3 water molecules from here, and the formula is going to become P2O5. That means phosphorus pentoxide, which is the anhydride for this. Now this is phosphorus acid. From here, by doubling the formula, removing 3 water molecules, we'll get P4O6. That is phosphorus trioxide, which is anhydride for phosphorus acid. Then we have metaphosphoric acid. Its anhydride is again P2O5. Now we'll discuss all these acids one by one, their synthesis, preparation, and their important properties. So first one is hypophosphorus acid. Hypophosphorus acid has been generated from the phosphorus acid by removing one of the oxygens, as the prefix hypo has been introduced. So here phosphorus is in +1 oxidation state. It can be prepared by the oxidation of phosphine with iodine. Phosphine will undergo reaction where it will undergo oxidation due to iodine, and iodine itself will get reduced to I negative in the form of hydrogen iodide. So we'll get the formation of this hypophosphorus acid. It is colorless crystalline solid soluble in water. It is monobasic acid. This is how the basicity can be shown. So when we heat this acid, we'll get a disproportionation reaction will take place. Here phosphorus is in +1 oxidation state. We'll get phosphine in -3 oxidation state and phosphorus acid in +3 oxidation state from here. Now, if this is heated above 60 degrees Celsius, we'll get phosphine. In addition to that, we'll get phosphoric acid, not phosphorus acid. So phosphorus acid is obtained when we heat it at 40 degrees Celsius, and when we heat it above 60 degree, we'll get phosphoric acid. Now this is good reducing as well as oxidizing agent. It itself get reduced to phosphine when it uses its oxidizing action, and it is oxidized to phosphoric acid when it uses its reducing action. Next we have phosphorus acid, that is H3PO3, where phosphorus is in +3 oxidation state. So it can be prepared by the action of water, or we can say hydrolysis of either PCl3 or P4O6, that is phosphorus trioxide. So here it can be generated like this upon hydrolysis of these two moieties. So it is white crystalline deliquescent solid which is soluble in water. Acidic properties, if we say it is a dibasic acid, it will generate 2 protons. Action of heat, if we heat it at 200 degrees Celsius, we'll get the formation of orthophosphoric acid and phosphine. That means it will undergo disproportionation to higher oxidation state and the lower oxidation state. So it is a strong reducing agent and easily oxidizes to H3PO4. Next we have hypophosphoric acid. It is obtained from red phosphorus, where red phosphorus is made to react with sodium chloride and water. Will get the formation of corresponding sodium salt of this hypophosphoric acid, which is further treated with ion exchange resin, where sodium ions will get replaced with hydrogen ions and will get this hypophosphoric acid. Again, when we heat this hypophosphoric acid, this will undergo disproportionation reaction to generate metaphosphoric acid and phosphorus acid. Hydrolysis reaction will give us mixture of phosphorus and phosphoric acid. It is a tetrabasic acid. This is its basicity reaction. Next we have phosphoric or orthophosphoric acid +5 oxidation state generated from P4O10 by its hydrolysis. Upon heating, it will remove water molecules and will get metaphosphoric acid. When it is heated till boiling point, we can remove the impurity of metaphosphoric acid, which is generated along with, because this is anhydride for metaphosphoric acid also. Now this is white deliquescent crystalline soluble in water. So these all phosphoric acids are white crystalline solids, which are almost all are deliquescent and they are soluble in water. Action of heat, when we heat it at 250 degrees Celsius, it will remove 1 water molecule and will get the formation of pyrophosphoric acid. And when this is heated above 600 degrees Celsius, around 600 degrees Celsius, we'll get the formation of metaphosphoric acid from this. It is a tribasic acid, and this is the only oxy acid of phosphorus which is having hydrogen bonding in its structure. And due to this, it is quite viscous, it is quite syrupy in texture. So next we have pyrophosphoric acid. It is obtained from the phosphoric acid by doubling the formula and removing water molecule. So it is slightly stronger acid than phosphoric acid. It is here phosphorus is in +5 oxidation state. Here it's with boiling water, it gives back phosphoric acid. It is a tetrabasic acid. Upon heating, it will generate metaphosphoric acid. Next, we have metaphosphoric acid. It can be prepared from pyro or orthophosphoric acid by heating those at 600 degrees Celsius. Also, it can be generated along with phosphoric acid by the hydrolysis of P4HO10, that is phosphorus pentoxide. Heating will give us P2O5, which is its anhydride. With water, it will give us phosphoric acid. Now, this metaphosphoric acid, it exists in the form of a chain type structure or cyclic type structure. 3 units are attached in the chain. Here the chain is infinite, and it occurs as trimer in the cyclic and tetramer in the cyclic form. So this is the chain type structure, and this is the structure for trimer, and this is the structure for tetramer. Here phosphorus is having, all are having one OH group attached to it, and rest of the oxygens are bridging along the chain. Here also oxygens are bridging, and each phosphorus is having one doubly bonded oxygen and one OH group to each other. So this is how we prepare its tetramer and trimer. Next, we have peroxomonophosphoric acid. It is prepared by the oxidation of P2O5, where treatment of P2O5 with H2O2. Here P2O5 will get the formation of peroxomonophosphoric acid. There is the introduction of peroxide linkage due to the reaction with H2O2. So peroxo diphosphoric acid is also there, which is prepared in same way. So we can easily memorize their formula, name, structure based upon the tricks I have discussed and the corresponding action of heat. These are the important points that we have to memorize: the action of heat, action of water, their preparation. So these are the important points to be kept in mind. Memorizing them is very easy. You just have to practice them by drawing using pen and paper. So just do not go through this lecture. Take a pen and paper and try to draw these structures. Try to grasp the structures easily, and you will be able to draw them without any mistake. So this is how you can draw this. Next, we have halides. So generally for the group 15 elements, we have trihalides and pentahalides. So all of the elements are forming trihalides. Trihalides are having pyramidal structure with one lone pair, and 3 groups are bonded to 3 halogens are bonded to this central metal, that is group 15 element. So all are covalent except for BiF3. Also pentahalides are possible, but all form pentahalides except for nitrogen. Due to the absence of the orbitals in its outermost shell, nitrogen can never be pentavalent. Also, bismuth is having less tendency to form pentahalides due to its inert pair effect, because for the NS2 electrons don't want to participate in bonding because of the inert pair effect when we move down the group. So all these halides undergo hydrolysis, but they generate different product upon hydrolysis. Say NCl3, that is trichloride for nitrogen, will generate ammonia. PCl3 will generate phosphoric acid. ASCl3 will generate As2O3. SbCl3 will generate oxychloride of antimony. Similarly, bismuth chloride will generate BiOCl. So these trihalides, these act as Lewis acid. They will react with the Lewis bases, or we can say anion of halides, and will get the corresponding soluble complexes MX5 over whole charges 2 negative. So PCl3 is very important. It undergo different reactions. It will Upon chlorination, we'll get the formation of PCl5. Upon oxidation, we'll get the corresponding oxychloride. So this also gives substitution reactions with alcohols and ammonia. These are the kind of products which are generated. So pentahalides are sp3 dehybridization. They have trigonal pyramidal geometry. They are thermally less stable than the trihalides. PCl5 is one of the most important pentahalide for group 15 elements. So in gaseous state, it exists as PCl5 discrete molecules, but in crystalline state, it exists as this ionic compound PCl4 positive, PCl5 negative. Similarly, in their crystal states, PBr5 and PI5 also exist like these. So out of pentahalides, this one is most important. It will decompose to PCl3 upon heating, and with water, PCl5 will give us POCl3 corresponding oxychloride of phosphorus, and with excess of water, it will give us orthophosphoric acid, which is a preparatory reaction for orthophosphoric acid. And also this pentahalide of phosphorus, it will undergo substitution reaction with different groups, as we have shown for PCl3. The substitution reactions are similar for PCl5 also. So that is it for the oxy acids of phosphorus and the halides of group 15 elements. This is all about halides. And so this is all about our group 15. So we have discussed all the hydrides, oxides, oxy acids, and the halides. So this is it for this group. In the next video, we'll be starting with group 16 elements and their properties and their important compounds. So that is it for this video. Thank you so much. Have a good rest.